And Allah tells us in the Quran, He says that when these our verses are recited to them, the sincere person says tears well up in their eyes. Really, I've seen it. The Roman Catholic especially. The Roman Catholic especially. You recite the Quran. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَإِذْ قَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ يَا مَرْيَمُ. And translate. Ya Maryamu. And on. Translate it for them. Let them hear. And this will not convert them. A lifetime of rust, what has gathered, and prejudice, you can't remove this with a cup of tea and the kusistas. But, man, share it with them. Tell them that this is what the Quran says about your Jesus, that He is one of the mightiest messengers of God. We believe in His miraculous birth. In these verses that I read, it speaks about His miraculous birth. And I had an experience in 1977. In 1977, I was planning to go to Indonesia. I haven't reached there yet. This is my Indonesian brothers. If they're here, they can know. From 1977, I'm trying to get into Indonesia, a Muslim country. But I have failed so far. 77. But as soon as I make up my mind to go to a foreign country, I want to master a bit of that nation's language. That's a hobby. It's an obsession with me. Like that, I can give you some 20 different languages. You think I'm bluffing you? What do you want to hear? Spanish, French, Sudanese. Sudan is the language of the Dinka, John Garang. You know they're at war. The language of the Dinka, Swahili, English, Afrikaans, Zulu. What do you want to hear? Hebrew. What do you want to hear? Indonesian. I wanted an Indonesian Bible to master a few words of the Indonesian. So I went to the Bible house in Durban. Every city in South Africa has got a Bible house where they specialize in Bibles in different languages. I want an Indonesian Bible. They said they haven't got it. Okay. I said, try Johannesburg. They might have it. So when I went to Johannesburg, I go to the Bible house in Johannesburg. And I go and search for this Indonesian Bible. And I got it. And I'm looking in the shelves, some other books. I see a New Testament, Greek and English. Like we have the Quran, Arabic and English, Greek and English, a New Testament. I took that big volume out and I'm starting to go through that. And the supervisor of the Bible house is watching me. You know, with this funny headgear and this beard. He says, what this guy is doing with all these expensive volumes, because this was an expensive volume in which I took down Greek, English of the New Testament. So he comes up to me, he says, good morning. I said, good morning. He said, what makes you interested in these books? I said, no, I do comparative religion, and I have come across something here in this Greek English of the New Testament that can be of use to me. He found me an interesting character. He said, would you like to have a cup of tea with me? I said, no, I don't mind at all. So he took me into his office. I said, now, you know, we believe in Jesus. And this was something astonishing to this supervisor. And all the supervisors in South Africa of the Bible houses are retired reverends. This was a Reverend Dunkers. He's amazed. I says, you know, we believe in Jesus and in His miraculous birth. And so saying, I started repeating these verses from the Quran. That we believe. And when I read it, he said, no, this is the same like my book. What you are saying now, that when the good news is given to Mary, the mother of Jesus, in the Holy Quran, she says, قَالَتْ رَبِّ أَنَّ يَكُونُ لِي وَلَدٌ وَلَمْ يَمْسَسْنِي بَشَرٌ. She said, oh my Lord, how can I have a child when no man has touched me? Which means physically, sexually. No man has touched me. So the angel says, قَالَ كَذَلِكَ اللَّهُ يَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Even so, Allah creates what He wills. إِذَا قَضَى أَمْرًا فَإِنَّمَا يَقُولُ لَهُ كُن فَيَكُونُ. Whenever He decrees a matter, He merely says to it, be, and He wills it and the thing comes into being. So the Reverend says, man, this is the same as my book. I said, yes, on the face of it, it's the same. But if you look at it intently, you'll find the difference between my version and your version is chalk and cheese. You people know chalk and cheese? You know the difference between chalk and cheese? The Canadians didn't know. The Canadians, I'm telling you, when I went to Canada, I spoke about chalk and cheese. They didn't hear that phrase before. We, the English-speaking people in South Africa, we know, everybody knows chalk and cheese. Chalk and cheese may look like white, but I said that's poles apart. You can't eat chalk, but you can eat cheese. No? But the Canadians didn't know. The Canadians didn't know. I'm telling you. I don't know whether you people know. Difference between chalk and cheese. The poles are, in other words, poles apart. So I said, how? I said, you know, in the Holy Bible, in the Gospel of St. Luke, we are told when this good news was given to Mary, the mother of Jesus, about the birth of the Holy Son, she says, how can this thing be when I know not a man? In the biblical language, know means sex. No to know means knowing sexually. Not she doesn't know a man. She knows her uncle, her fathers, her neighbors. Surely she knows other men. But no. No in the biblical language means sex. In the Quran it says, no man has touched me. Again, it means not touched me, means had sex. Both the Quran and the Bible are saying the same thing. The replies to them are revealing. In the Holy Bible, the answer to Mary's protest was that the Holy Ghost will come upon thee. I'm reading the Bible to you. Luke. The Holy Ghost will come upon thee, and the power of the Most High will overshadow thee. Now that gives you a mental picture. The Holy Ghost is a person. That's what the Christians say. The Father is a person, the Son is a person, and the Holy Ghost is a person, but they are not three persons, but one person. I don't know whether you heard that expression before. But he's a person. This Holy Ghost will come on Mary. How? See, it gives you in your mind. It makes you think how? Like a man and a woman, like a bull and the cow. How? The Almighty will overshadow her. How? No, it gives you a mental picture. So I'm suggesting that it gives you a mental picture. You know, how the Holy Ghost will come on her. We know it's a miracle. We agree it's a miracle. But the language that you are using, the language is down-to-earth language. The Quran says, وَإِذَا قَضَى أَمْرًا فَإِنَّمَا يَقُولُ لَهُ كُن فَيَكُونُ. For God to create Jesus without a human father, he says, kun, he says, be, and it is. For him, it's just to will it, and he comes into being. So, I'm asking the Reverend. I said, now, between these two versions, we are both trying to say the same thing. We are both trying to give the same message, that he was born miraculously. There's no doubt about that. But I said, which version would you prefer to give to your daughter? The Quranic version or the biblical version? We are both trying to say the same thing. He said, he bowed his head down in shame, and he said he would prefer to give the Quranic version. This is Reverend Dunkers, the head of the Bible Society in Johannesburg. You show this to your Christian friends and neighbors, your employers, your employees, and you see what happens. If they start being funny, then I'll show you other ways. Then it's the other method. But otherwise, this is how Allah expects us to talk to them, share with them. So the story is that in these verses, the story is that the mother of Mary, she was barren for a long period of time. And she prayed to God. So, oh my Lord, if you give me a child, I'll devote my child for temple services, for your service. I will dedicate her. And God heard her prayer, and she became pregnant from her husband. And in time she delivered the child. And the child happened to be a female. And she was disappointed. She had vowed that child she will dedicate, imagining, thinking it will be a son, a male. But it happened to be a female. What is she to do? She had vowed. So she bides her time when Mary was big enough that she can look after herself, her toiletries and all that. She takes this child to the temple for handing over. And the priest in the temple of Jerusalem, they're seeing this beautiful child. Everybody wants to be a godfather. You know godfather? That's how the Westerners say, to look after the child as his own. Everyone says, look, I'll look after the child. The other one says, I'll be the godfather. I'll look after the child. And there's competition. So they started casting lots.